Hey everyone, welcome to Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I'm going to discuss a new interview with Matt and Tyler, otherwise known as Radio Silence, who of course directed Scream 5 and will be returning to direct Scream 6. Now they open up to shed light on the direction they're heading for Scream 6 and possibly even the Stab franchise as well. Let's go. So sci-fi.com has posted an article that features an interview with Matt and Tyler about not only Scream 5, but also the approach they are taking with Scream 6 as they prepare to begin filming this summer. So let's get into it. The headline reads, "Where does Scream go from here? Directors tease next sequel will, quote, play with your expectations." Now the article begins, directing duo Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett will be returning to helm their second consecutive trip back to the blood-soaked town of Woodsboro. But how will they build on their first movie's smart story choices and all the high fan expectations that come with it? Now, one thing I just want to mention here, this is the writer obviously setting up the article, but he does mention back to Woodsboro, the blood-soaked town of Woodsboro. Now, is this person, do they know whether or not the movie is going to be set in Woodsboro here? We don't know for sure because this is not Matt and Tyler speaking. However, I thought it just bears worth mentioning it again because maybe they do know. I mean, who knows? I'm sure they talk off the record as well at some point. So maybe, perhaps, we're getting a clue that it will be back in Woodsboro, which I've been predicting it's going to be back in Woodsboro since the movie ended. I still think that's what's going to happen. And we even had Matt and Tyler both saying, remember, that there are more stories to tell in Woodsboro right when the movie came out. They were talking about it, so even before it came out. So we already know that James and Guy already have ideas and have had ideas for a new trilogy. So I personally believe it will return to Woodsboro. I know there's a possibility. Of course, it could be other places. It could be a college. You know, I've talked about that a lot on the channel. It could be, heck, it could be anywhere. I mean, it could literally be, you know, a vacation, a trip, like we talked about in the Collective. It could be all kinds of places. But at the end of the day, if you ask me, where do I predict it's going to be as of right now, I think it is going to be back in Woodsboro. And I just thought it was interesting that the article leads off with the writer saying how they're heading back to the town of Woodsboro, which is interesting. So again, we don't know for sure, but I think that's pretty safe. Now, next up, we read this. Speaking recently with iFilm, the pair said subverting the expectations of horror-savvy fans is really what Craven's original creation has always been about. And while they're obviously leaving the details aside for now, the next film will definitely find a way to keep toying with all the meta assumptions and genre curveballs that even experienced Scream devotees are well conditioned to look out for. So now we hear from Matt and Tyler. Quote, "It gets to what Tyler was saying earlier, that just the DNA of Scream, the foundation of what Scream is that it has to subvert your expectations and it has to surprise you," said Bettinelli-Olpin. "And so it has to take a risk. And I think we had a lot of fun on this one, being like, how do we make sure that we have one foot firmly planted in the legacy and the history of Scream, but then also try to take a step forward and try to play with your expectations a little bit. And I think one of the things in this next one that we'll hopefully be able to do is just make sure that it doesn't feel like something you've seen. I think it just has to feel fresh and it has to feel new. Because yeah, you want Ghostface, you want the killings, you want a whodunit. It's all the stuff. It's got to be in there, just in a new way." Now, this is really interesting. And I love when he says, you know, basically kind of what the foundation of Scream is. It's just subvert expectations. It has to surprise us, right? And I love that he says, one foot firmly planted in the legacy and history of the franchise of Scream, but one step forward to try and mess with our expectations. And I think we saw that in Scream 5. I really do. I think that we definitely had a Scream film for sure. And there's no doubt about it. When you watch it, this is a Scream film. We've got the whole, finger pointing, masculine. I mean, all the elements that are there, the meta aspects, all those things. So they did a good job of keeping kind of Wes Craven's legacy intact, I believe. And of course, it's not a Wes Craven movie. Now I've made that very clear, and I think we would all agree this is definitely not a Wes Craven Scream, but it definitely pays tribute to it. It has those elements are there. And so they did that, and they did add some new things. I mean, we saw some things we've never seen. We've never seen one catch fire before, right? That's a brand new. And there's other things, of course, too. We never seen an opening kill that wasn't an opening kill. I mean, there's things that they did that did break expectations or the norm. So that was cool. Not saying it was perfectly done, and that there could have been a lot more done, but they did do some things. I think that statement fits. I think it's accurate, right? I do. Now, for 6, when I see here, he says one of the things we hopefully will be able to do is just make sure it does not feel like something you've seen. Now, this is very interesting. They said, I think it has to feel fresh. It has to feel new. Like all the stuff that's got to be there, like a Scream movie needs, but in a new way. Now, this is the part of the article that I love this. And it got my brain going. It got my motors turning, if you will, because this is exactly what I think a lot of us have been talking about, right? Like Radio Silence is now taking over. They did Scream 5, which was a massive mantle to pick up from the legend himself, Wes Craven. I can't imagine the pressure that they felt making that movie and making sure that they got everything right as much as they could. And, all those elements were all there, and they admitted they were there. I'm not even like speculating. They came out and said that. So, the pressure is there. Now that movie's done. Okay, the first one is been done. It's completed. It's been a massive success in the box office. Everything's great. Now it's Scream 6. It's time to make another one. And this time, the weight of Wes Craven's legacy is not on their shoulders. It's gone now. They've picked it up and they did a good job. So now it's like, okay, we can breathe, we can exhale, we can now make our Scream movie. You're talking about Radio Silence. And I think that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing them basically say that. I mean, when talking about how it doesn't feel like it's something you've seen, and they want 6 to feel different. They want it to be fresh. They want it to feel new, and it's got to be everything we love, right? Everything we love about Scream, but it's got to be done differently in a new way, and that's what they're saying here. So I'm very excited about this comment. I think it might give us a little clue that, okay, this is going to be the film Radio Silence pushes the boundaries, breaks down the walls, and says, we're going to make this our movie. We're going to take some risks that we didn't take in 5 because we didn't think we could. But now we're going to do that. And I think that's the movie I want to see. I mean, that's the Scream film I want to see. I want to see a progression in this trilogy, right? This should be the one where they do step out. They do introduce some things that are going to catch us off guard that we've never seen before. That's new and that's fresh. And that's exactly what they said. I'm like, wow, these are like literally the words I'd love to hear from them, because it's exactly the same words that I've been using and other content creators, you guys in our discussions. I mean, even on the collective, just the other day, we were talking about it on last week's episode about how, we want to see something fresh. Chilljoy Jake was talking a lot about that as well on his video. So we all feel that same theme where we're like, don't make it a movie that's not Scream. Of course, it's got to be Scream, but let's see some new things. Make it your own. All right, don't try to be another Wes Craven Scream, because you'll never reach that bar. So let's just make it a Radio Silence Scream. So I think that is very exciting. Personally, I love to hear them talking like this, that they're already thinking about how we can go differently in 6, how we can up the ante, if you will, in 6. Okay, so back to the article. Gillette seems to take the idea a step further, hinting that they're not shy about deconstructing the series. parentheses, what's a Scream movie when the wheels have fallen off, in parentheses, and putting it back together again if that is what it takes to keep fans on their toes. So, Tyler says, it's not lost on us that the bar is really high. We've heard a lot from reps and fans who say, I don't know what you guys are going to do. Like, what a crazy challenge, he said. And we're like, great, watch this. Let's do that. Let's figure out what the thing is that is the challenge and how do we rise to that. That for us is exciting. That's what makes us go, great. What's a Scream movie when the wheels have fallen off? What does that look like? Now I love this. This is perhaps, again, one of maybe even the most intriguing statement of all, is that Tyler and Matt are so aware that the bar is high. They know the bar is high. The expectations are going up. They're not coming down from after 5. They go up from 5. And I love that they're aware of these things. They're not oblivious to it. Like, oh, well, we can just make another movie like 5 and we'll be fine. No. They're like, hang on, we can't do that. We've got to raise the bar. We've got to do whatever it is that we need to do to make this thing work. I mean, to the fact where, like it says here, what's a Scream movie when the wheels have fallen off? Like, what does that look like? Just completely deconstruct it down, tear it down, build it back up, make it something new, something fresh. So this is exciting to me. I'd love to see this. I love to hear this. And it just sheds the light on the thinking process of Radio Silence and what their intentions are with this movie going into it, because they're filming in the summer. So this gives them time they're already thinking this through, as I'm sure they're already looking at drafts of the script from James and from Guy. So it's great to know they're thinking this way. Now, finally, the article closes out with a shift from Scream 6 to the Stab franchise. And we read this. But as directors who grew up adoring the franchise, they sound wide open to exploring it from more than just one angle. We keep saying we should figure out a way to make Stab movies, Bettinelli Olpin half-joked, because it would be the ultimate fulfilling the idea of the meta-ness of Scream, right? I don't know. I think it would be really fun. I would be there in a minute for a Stab movie. The idea that you could make 2 franchises simultaneously or based on each other is so insane, Gillett explained. And so it's self-congratulatory. I love it so much. Now, this is just awesome. And I know it's a half joke, but at the same time, you just never know, man. You just never know. What a way to make your franchise new. What a way to make yourself do something that has never been done in the franchise's history. Actually make a Stab movie. Could you imagine the insanity of having a Stab movie and a Scream 6 film? Could you imagine, like, full-length feature film of Stab? Just unbelievable, man. I just think it would be incredible if they did this. And what a marketing campaign. Could you imagine the marketing for a Stab and a Scream combo? And even if you don't make Stab an hour and a half, like, you could do a short version, like shorten it to like an hour, like a 60 minutes or, even 45 minutes. You could make it where it would be a full story just told quickly, but still could be done. I mean, look at all the television shows that are mysteries that come on that are 45-minute episodes they tell great stories in a short amount of time. It can totally be done. So could you imagine this whole Stab as like an opening to the film where you can get a double feature and you could either just see Scream or you can see the Stab Scream combo. Just something crazy like that. I think would be so much fun. So anyway, will it happen? Heck, I don't know. But it sure would be fun. And it sounds like they definitely think it would be as well. So fingers crossed something really amazingly cool, original like that would be done. Hey, we'll hope for it, right? Why not? Let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's stay optimistic. Let's see what may come from all this. All right, everyone. Now I want to know what you think about this interview with Radio Silence in their comments. How do you see Scream taking the next level from Scream 5 with new and never before seen elements like they're talking about here? I want to know your opinions, your thoughts, your ideas and theories. Like, what do you think are some ways they can do it, right? How are some specific ways we could see new things introduced we've never seen in a Scream film? Would love to hear your thoughts. So leave your comments below right now so we can start a discussion up and kick ideas back and forth. Well, that's going to be it for this update, guys, but I'll be back soon with more Scream and other horror movie content. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thank you for watching.